Welcome to Gamepinions episode 27. I'm your host, Kalman, and today I'm joined by the man who's always out of bubblegum, TJ.
Hey.
And today we also... sorry, I didn't mean to not say hey. Hey, TJ.
Hey.
We're also joined today for the very first time by John, a.k.a. Johnacade, the man who created this intro for this podcast. John, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I am doing okay right now.
Okay. And you did this earlier, so I'm going to do it now. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome, John. Welcome, John. Welcome, John. Welcome, John.
How's that make you feel?
You feel welcome, John?
I feel really rock. I feel like I'm squirted right now.
Success.
Okay, John. We've been wanting to do this podcast for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And because you value your family more than you value us, we've had to wait for a little while. So thanks for nothing. No, we've been wanting to do this for a while. We made like a joke about having John on, and it just becoming like a roast in a way, which I don't really know why we were joking about that. But that's not going to happen. So John, welcome to Gamepinions. I have a special little topic that's dedicated to you. So this is your opportunity to kind of have the floor here. And basically every time someone comes on, we always talk about how they got into gaming, and you're going to be no different because you have to talk about this as well. So how did you get into gaming, John?
All right, so gaming. Yeah, it wasn't really exactly a console start. We got a computer in around, I think it was 2000, I believe. You know, around the new millennium. There was a few games. There was I believe, pinball. Windows pinball was one of the first things I actually played on there.
Were you good?
I wasn't really good at that at all.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
There was also that Minesweeper game. I had no idea what I was doing. It's kind of click stuff.
I like the faces in that one. That was good.
Either glasses or sad face or dead face.
Yep.
So we didn't, as a family, we didn't have a console that really got me into gaming at first. I used to play games over at relatives' house. One of my family members or relatives had a Super NES. So whenever I was over there, we'd play Mario Kart. I forget what other games we played there. I know Mario Kart was a go-to since it was multiplayer.
Yeah.
They also had, I think, PS1, but I never played anything on that. I always watched them play it. But our first console at home was the GameCube, actually. My parents actually didn't buy it. Our relatives actually found out we didn't have one, and they gave us like $100. And that's at the time when the GameCube was like $100. So they gave us $100 to they gave us $100 to start it out. We got Smash, and I got what was it? Rogue Squadron. I forgot what number it was. The GameCube one. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first home experience for gaming, and then I also had Game Boy Advance. Let's see, and then next handheld.
What kind of Game Boy Advance?
OG one. It was actually a Target brand.
Oh, you got the red one?
Yeah, the red one.
Oh wow, yeah, I only saw like a couple of those.
Yeah, my sister had the OG purple one, but I had the Target brand. I don't know. I just
that's such an obscure system.
It was, but I still have it. It still says Target.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's weird. I want to look into that and see how that came about. That's pretty interesting.
Target, I believe they had other Target brand things outside of that, didn't they? Or was that...
Really? I don't know. That's the only one I can remember.
I think they had a Game Boy Color, maybe. I would have to look this up, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, so that was my first handheld. My favorite Game Boy Advance game all time when there was Metroid Zero Mission. And then next handheld was the DS Lite. Then we had a Wii. Then I got a DSi. And then let's see, what was my next one? I got a PS3. And then PSP, 3DS, Wii U, PS4, and Switch now. I'm like blanking out, like, oh yeah, I have a Switch now.
That's right. Okay, so I guess like you kind of start off in a similar way we did, because we had our Sega Genesis, but then we kind of went to PC for a while, and that's still kind of a timeline that's really grayed out to me, in terms of like when we played what. But yeah, like the preloaded games, I remember like the ski game. I don't know if you ever played that.
Ski
Ski
free.
Free?
I think so. Like the
Ski
monster
Free.
eats you at the end.
Was
Right,
that
get
the
too
internet
far.
one? Yeah.
Was it internet?
It wasn't web based for us. In fact, I don't even know what it was stored on.
I don't know. I think it was just a preloaded game, but I remember that, like, you know, you could do like weird things, like turn like tree stubs into mushrooms if you did something weird.
The dogs would pee.
Yeah, the dogs would pee. It was weird. It was a really bizarre game. So that was pretty funny, talking about like the preloaded games. Now I do have a question for you. What game are you playing right now?
Because
Well, not like right this second, but you know,
We're trying to do a podcast here, John.
Yeah.
Put that controller down.
I hear clicking in the background. Stop it.
Hang on, I'm trying to multitask here. I'm playing City Skylines along with MLB The Show. It's really hard. Well, this is gonna be a Rocket League podcast, so I guess that'd be one of the few games I still actively play. Recently though, I just picked up a baseball game on the Switch, Super Mega Baseball 2, which was originally on I think it was an Xbox and PC game originally, or just PC originally. I don't remember. Probably both.
Okay.
And I was actually kind of blown away at how good and really in depth it is.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah,
it called?
I'll
What's it called one more time, John?
Super Mega Baseball 2. It's a sequel to kind of a fan popular one. It's from the Xbox, I think 360 or Xbox One. I don't know what came out first. I think it was on PS3 as
Okay.
well.
It's on Switch now.
Mm-hmm. It's on Switch now. It just came out like
Cool.
a week ago.
Oh wow.
I picked it up because I needed something like a baseball game to go, and I had RB at Baseball on the Switch originally, and I did not like it at all.
Oh God, yeah, it sucks.
Oh,
Yeah, it's awful. So this is better than that then.
oh yeah, I can compare this really close to the show actually.
Really?
Yeah.
But now, like in this game though, is it like off-brand teams? Like it's like kind of unique to
Yeah,
that
there's no MLB
lore?
license on there.
Okay, so it's like just like, you know, created teams, like made up teams.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Like if it's not going to be an MLB game, then I'd rather it kind of go in that direction, I think, because to me, RBI is it's hot garbage. I mean, I guess it's good for like casual players, but I mean, I never got into it. I really did not like that game. The angle was weird. The mechanics were really strange. It reminded me of like, you know, the NES baseball game in a way, how you can move like, you know, in and out from the plate. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, stop. Do not like that. So you've been playing that. You said you've kind of been playing Rocket League. You've been away for a while, so you really haven't probably been able to play
I
like
mean,
the
I brought my
PlayStation.
Switch with me away. I mean, that's my
Oh,
go-to
okay.
travel system. Let's see what else. I mean, this is not a game. I play Core Gadget, or make music a Core Gadget.
Okay. Which is relevant to the
It
podcast
is.
because you created the intro.
Mm-hmm.
So, still relevant. I like it. And what is that? Do you think that's it, or
I play a lot of Switch games. It's just I have so many.
yeah,
Your
it would
list.
kind of yeah. Okay, that's good. It's good that you're an active Switch user. So thank you for your introduction. That was kind of your one and only moment to have the floor all to yourself. So, you know, I hope you feel like you utilized that well.
But that's not all. Nah, I'm done.
Yeah. Now, TJ, we haven't recorded an episode for a while. What have you been up to?
I told you a couple weeks ago I bought Dark Souls Remastered for PS4. I pretty much cleared that entire game and am just helping others with it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking help with Calamite, which is the dragon in the Dark Souls Remastered DLC. Just figured out how to kind of induce his position to make the co-opper, the person I'm playing with, cut off the tail. That's the DLC boss where you can cut the tail off. That's a mechanic in that game. There's several bosses. You can get swords from the tails you cut off. Calamite's one. So that's basically it. Nothing too crazy. I haven't even played Rocket League this week.
No.
Nope. Just Dark Souls pretty much.
Yeah, I haven't played Rocket League this week either. The new Madden just came out, and if you bought the special edition, you get to play it early. I think it comes out next week officially. But I always get the early edition, so I got to play that. Playing a lot of Ultimate Team with Dakota and some various other people. Dakota is a friend of the show. He just hasn't been on yet, but I'm sure he'll be on at some point to do a Madden podcast or something similar. He actually would have been a good person to have on here too, because he's a big Rocket League fan.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, because I think he probably started playing it before, any of us.
Didn't he encourage you guys to get it?
I think he might have encouraged me to get it at some point.
I kind of told
And I
Calvin
was like,
too. I'm like, we probably just told Calvin to like get this game.
Yeah, like, hey Cal,
Yeah.
hey Cal, you gotta play Rocket League.
Just-
I don't
just
know.
do it.
Come on, Cal, get it.
Yeah.
It was free.
And Cal's like,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, might as well download it.
Yeah, it's just hardware, or it's just a hard drive space you're taking up. It's fine. But yeah, so I've been playing Madden. I've been doing the Ultimate Team, which is really similar to Diamond Dynasty. I think it's a little bit heavier on maybe microtransactions in a way. I feel like people really pour money into that game to get like packs, and they don't play it the right way. But who's to say what is the right way and what's the wrong way? But it's been really fun. The challenges, I think, are a little bit more fun than MLB challenges in terms of getting currency. I think they're a little bit more challenging in some ways too, which is pretty fun. It's fun to play through them. Besides that, I haven't really been playing a whole lot of anything. I haven't played MLB because John hasn't been around, so I haven't played that. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've been doing. So nothing too crazy, for sure. I did want to, I guess, hop into, the main topic at hand, which is Rocket League. It's in the title. And there was like a few different things I wanted to go over, I guess, before we get like super into like, Rocket League itself. I actually went ahead and researched just some stuff about supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars, which was a 2008 prequel to Rocket League. And you guys haven't played that game at all, right?
Nope.
I haven't either. So I really did not know anything about the game at all besides that it was the prequel to Rocket League. So I don't know how it plays. I don't know how it feels. I just know how it looks, and it just looks like a less detailed version of Rocket League, really, with the weird classic field that you play on with the goals that are separate from like the actual walls. So I went ahead and looked up like the Metacritic score because I was curious, like, because I never heard about that, but I know that there was fans of it because, if you look on YouTube, you see videos of this. If you look it up, of people playing and doing tricks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I was really curious, like, what the backstory was with this. And I looked up its Metacritic score, and it actually has a 67 on Metacritic, which basically shows that it had mixed reviews. It wasn't really, extremely positively reviewed, but it also wasn't like super negative that it's going to drop the rating down to like, 50s or 40s. That's generally where mediocre games are. This one was kind of just in like the middle there. And I was reading through some of the reviews because I was curious to see if Rocket League addressed like some of like the concerns or maybe some of the thoughts that, these critics basically, wrote about back then. So this is what GameSpot said in their review. I guess this was just kind of a summary. I was just grabbing the summaries off of the Metacritic page. And GameSpot said, this blend of vehicular combat and soccer is fun in short sessions, but it's too frustrating to offer much long-term appeal. Obviously, it's been 4 years since Rocket League has come out, and we're still all playing it. So, and usually when we play it for probably a couple hours. So we kind of see right there that Rocket League already kind of improved over the original game, and obviously this is person to person, but I think Rocket League in long sessions is good. I think for me personally, I kind of start getting not great after a certain point in time. And then, you kind of have to stop. But I don't find Rocket League frustrating. So it's kind of neat to see that, while Psyonix was developing this game, it seems like they definitely tweaked, the gameplay mechanics enough to make it more of like a fun game to play and not like a frustrating game to play. I also had another one from 1UP. It said Supersonic seems a tad overpriced at $15, which I think that's what Rocket League's priced at now, correct?
Probably close to 30 if you
Is
want
it 20?
some DLC.
Or maybe it is 30.
Okay.
Just
20,
with the DLC. If it's 20 with like vanilla, I can believe that. But
Yeah.
if it has some DLC elements, I'm sure it's more than that. That's just a guess, though.
Yeah.
And it goes on sale.
It's I guess also, yeah.
That's true.
And it's I guess also important to note that back then, like in 2008, we're not really like we probably don't see the same amount of like free updates like Rocket League gets, in terms of, gameplay and all that. So basically back then you pretty much got what you got. I mean, if the game didn't have a lot of content, then that was it. You're not really going to get a ton of free updates that are going to add, to the longevity of the game. So it says, Supersonic seems a tad overpriced at $15, especially considering the nigh featureless multiplayer and bland aesthetics, but the single player is short and sweet, and the core mechanics are simple and rewarding. So it's kind of a little, different from the last passage because this is saying it's simple. The mechanics are simple and rewarding. So little, it's person to person. I thought it was interesting though how they were saying that the online was kind of bare bones, where Rocket League focused almost entirely online. So that was an adjustment that they made. Bland aesthetics, obviously, I think Rocket League pops pretty good. I think there's a lot of colors on screen when you're playing.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're like us and disable all the weather effects, shake, and if you want to stay competitive, you might do that.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. It kind of shows that last game kind of lacked multiplayer features. This one was from Cheat Code Central. Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars delivers a unique concept that stands out among the increasingly populated downloadable pack. It's too bad this charm wears off quickly, resulting in a game that feels more like a novelty than a crafty idea brought to realization. That was the last one I grabbed, and I thought that one really stood out to me too because, obviously Rocket League has had a really good 4-year run. I think that it's really just gotten stronger and stronger as the years have gone by. And I don't think the charm has worn off at all. In fact, I think the competition levels have increased, and I think that, the more and more you play, I think that maybe I've kind of hit my peak a while ago. But, I don't think that, I feel like this is like a really well thought out game that's no more, it's like it's not a novelty anymore if it was back then. It's really become a game of its own and, a highly competitive game. So I think there's a lot of substance to it. So that's another improvement that it appears that they made. And there's obviously a big competitive community for it. So I was kind of curious as to how Rocket League got, its, I guess how Psyonix was able to bring Rocket League, back. And it basically was in March of 2017, Psyonix confirmed that there was going to be a sequel, but it was still kind of early in development. It was still kind of going through, its developmental stages. And they had a difficult time convincing a publisher to get on board. So they weren't really able to pitch the idea. The first game probably didn't do great. at least not great enough to warrant someone to publish it. And they also were kind of they kind of lacked the capital to do it themselves, which that was kind of an unfortunate situation that they were in. But throughout the years, ever since that game came out, they were working on projects, and they were basically just being a contractor for different games and all that, just to kind of gain the funds back in order to start publishing their own stuff again. And then that's kind of how Rocket League came to be when that finally released. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I wonder if the the publishers that didn't decide to take that game on, I wonder if they're kicking themselves now after how successful Rocket League has become, and to the point that we're still talking about it now, and there's still a massive player base. It became a hit. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now this next one, I kind of wanted to ask you guys, what was your first impressions of Rocket League?
For me, right away, like the music kind of stood out. It's like electric vibe, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah.
Yeah.
It looked beautiful first looking at it. When you play that gritty type of GTA 5 type game, and you look at this bright and vibrant Rocket League we have in front of us now, like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Really hard to get used to. I know that. We played that Challenger. Season 3 is when I got started. I didn't do anything like I do now. So it was kind of rough, but it was kind of addicting at the same time. It's one of those things, like you guys play MLB and Madden, especially you and Dakota Cal play Madden. That's like kind of like the game you can just hop on and play a match, and if that's enough for you, you can kind of go to bed or do something else or whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how Rocket League was for me. So instead of playing these long, drawn-out games, you play a match or two, and if I've had enough, I can do something else. I think that's one of the reasons why I keep playing it too. It's very similar to when I first started experiencing it. It's just one of those things you don't have to invest a whole lot of time in a sitting. You can have a satisfying experience over just maybe half an hour, and then you're good for the night.
Yeah, I feel the same way actually. I feel like for some games, it takes so long to boot the game up, to get matched, to finally get into the game. Rocket League, everything just seems so streamlined and quick. It's like you can hop on, play a few games, and be done. And it just feels like there's no hassle. It's quick, it's satisfying. If obviously if you're winning, and then you can go about your business. So I like that too. John, what was your first impressions of Rocket League?
I was excited. It's car soccer. Come on, you can't not have fun with that idea. But when I first played it, I did not know what I was doing. Flying seemed impossible. It was really tough. I just didn't think I would ever get good at it. I was just struggling so much, but look at us now, and we can actually do all these good shots and stuff.
Oh yeah, we definitely can. My first impression was, holy crap, these controls suck. I did not think, like, when we first had our first few matches, I didn't think that we were going to play it for a long time. I thought this was going to be something that, we play a couple times, but then kind of move on. Like, it's just one of those things we get a few laughs at. It kind of like Gang Beast, right?
Oh God.
Yes. Yeah. Or Friday the 13th.
That's another story.
Yeah.
That's a completely different story. That's another completely different story. You can't.
But that's kind of how I viewed it. I thought it was neat, cool concept. I thought the gameplay was really slow, though. You have these rocket boosters, but you had to wait for the ball to bounce in order to hit it. I don't know. I never imagined that, 4 years down the line, it would be a game that I couldn't imagine myself like without. And I think that probably the biggest change for us was once we started using like the rocket boosting to like go up and hit the ball, because like that first few weeks really of just waiting for the ball to bounce and then timing it, it's looking back, it's so cringy. It's like, how did we play like that? Why did we play like that? And how did we win? was the bigger question.
Luck.
So yeah, essentially, yeah, that's what it felt like. So I just thought it was really weird, and I thought that the game just didn't control well enough to really be like I guess like a mainstay for me. And I ended up being wrong. So it was I don't know, it was really strange because it wasn't like anything else we've played before. Especially not together. And I'm pretty sure our first Rocket League games were me and you playing together. And yeah, it was just, I don't know. I thought that the gameplay mechanics were just a little bit too sloppy to actually, master. But it ended up turning out, and we all have fun playing it, and it's still one of my favorite games to this day. So I wanted you guys to because I kind of briefly went into it there. I guess reminisce about the days of vanilla Rocket League, right? This is before, updates, before mutators, just pure unadulterated Rocket League. And that was like I said, not being able to rocket boost. I kind of consider that the vanilla Rocket League. But just like other things too. So what were you guys like memories, I guess, of like vanilla Rocket League?
Vanilla Rocket League. That's TJ.
Yeah, well, I was gonna, just throw in there. Today we have so many different wheels and toppers and different kinds of cars. You got a lot more choice and a lot more customization. Kind of looking back, that would get boring once in a while when you had a limited option of how you could design your car. It's like you were kind of just given, well, what it gave you, I guess.
Yeah.
Now you've got, instead of like a dozen options, you've got, hundreds of options. So that was one of the things, even today they just keep adding more and more stuff you can equip your car with just to keep it. To me, it gives me a visual sensation of freshness. But in old days, you play for a little bit and like, man, I wish I could just break free of this mold that, they only have like 8 cars and all that. It's just, oh God. Of course, I wasn't really paying any money for any DLC back then too, so that may have been self-inflicted. But, yeah, and there's only a handful of maps. That kind of goes in the same way as what I said before. It was just, limited choice. And that would kind of be kind of boring. Vanilla Rocket League was kind of boring.
Yeah. John, what about you?
I was thinking more of the gameplay aspect and bugs and whatnot. It's a lot more fine-tuned now. But if you remember, physics weren't always exactly the same. It's been tuned up a little bit since then. And then I also remember, as kind of a goalie main, I wouldn't say a goalie main, but someone who does more the defensive part on my team. I remember the days before seeing the ball through the wall, there was the outline. So if you're sitting in the goal and the ball comes around and you're kind of in the inside wall, you can't really see the ball coming. And this was like in vanilla Rocket League. And then later on, they actually added an outline so that you can see it right behind the wall, so you kind of know where it was.
Yeah.
And that's like probably one of my favorite changes since, because
Yeah,
before I always just, if I was ever sitting there, and I wasn't always good, so I kind of just sat at the goal and waited sometimes. So, I made the gameplay a little bit better since then. I don't know if you remember the lag. That was big.
Yeah.
High ping spikes, disconnects left and right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there are some issues for sure.
I don't know. Rocket League hasn't changed too much besides small little things that made it, slightly better.
Yeah, I remember like the replays, like how it used to show the
Yeah.
goal when you would score. I remember like there was like
Oh,
one
yeah.
time like the ball was missing like a pixel on opening kickoff.
That's right. Yeah, so early Rocket League was just pretty buggy, not as
Yeah.
refined.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely not what it is now. I also remember at the end of like matches, like it would sometimes go like, "Arr," like some kind of sound would like stick around. I'm not sure why. And I don't think there was at one point they didn't even have the celebrations at the end, if I remember correctly.
Oh
Like it would
no,
just
that got
end,
it like
right?
maybe like 2 years after.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you kind
Um,
of just went from game to that.
oh yeah, quick chat. Um, more than big probably just double the amount since
Hmm.
vanilla Rocket League days. They haven't added anything since the last time they added more quick chat options, but
Yeah. And do you remember when one of the updates it made like I'm pretty sure it made like the field like spin behind you? Do you remember that? It's
are you
like
talking
you'd look
about?
behind like the menu and then it would just be like spinning, I think. Just
I
it would
don't.
make you feel like sick. It was like
I don't
awful.
remember that.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
the replays or
no, I think like it would like pause, like it
the
would
end
pause
game
wherever you
screen?
are on the field. Yeah, the end game screen, and it would
Yeah,
just
the
like
end game
spin.
screen. That so
It's
yeah, it
like,
would
oh my
spin around
god.
in a circle, and you're just like, oh god, I'm getting sick.
They took that one out really quick. That one was not in there long, I don't
Yeah,
think.
those are the days when they kept trying to mess around with goal replays and in the game camera, and just they just couldn't really decide.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember everyone used to try to like heave their cars into the goal once like once it was, scored because they'd be on the replay of their car just being launched into the goal. Um yeah, there's some really weird things with Rocket League when it first came out.
I don't
Um
know, hitboxes maybe. Um,
yeah, I have a hard time kind of I just don't really remember. We played so inefficiently back then that it's really hard for me to think about, I guess, the hitboxes, if that makes
yeah,
sense. It's like, was the hitbox different or did I just suck? And the answer, I guess, would just be yes.
yeah.
So I don't know.
What's your go-to car?
Oh, my go-to car in the beginning. Oh man, I can't even remember the car names. Yeah, it was one of the more like flat ones. I can't remember what it was called. What about you, TJ?
Well, you use the Type S a lot, right? The uh, the Breakout Type S, right? Remember that? I think you actually gave me that car
Um.
when you had a spare, because I
Oh,
think you were using that a lot.
well, I don't know if I used that back in like, or like John, are you talking about what was my go-to in the beginning or what was my go-to
Um,
now?
I don't know, just now I guess.
Well, now it's that what is it, the Takumi? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
Takumi. Yep, I think that has an Octane hitbox.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to use was it Santio?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Yep.
I went back to Octane just because hitbox and drifting seems a lot more consistent.
Yeah.
Right. I think I typically use the Werewolf. I've switched between Octane and Werewolf mostly. I don't think I have anywhere close to the amount of wins I do with the Type S. That's why I bring that up.
Oh, okay.
Like I used that for like 2 years before I switched over to the Octane and Werewolf.
Yeah.
Werewolf for me, I think the wheels are just seem like they're close together, so the turn radius on it is fairly above average, I think. So that's why I kind of stick with it. It just feels faster sometimes. It may just be in my head, but that's why I use it.
I think
Even
the
though I think Octane is typically better.
turn radius differentiates between cars, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I've never looked it up. It just feels like it does,
It
though.
feels
Yeah.
like I does drifting or braking.
I don't know.
Uh,
I know
I'm not
hitboxes are
sure.
slightly different, just really slight though.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, because I don't actually use like a whole bunch of different cars. I usually
Yeah.
just have like maybe one or two or three that I actually will cycle through. In terms of like the big ones, I don't really use them. Like, the one that has like the what's the one with the clown? Is it the clown?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember either. Yeah, it's like the really big one. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like an ice cream truck or something.
Yeah, isn't that from like Twisted Metal or something?
Oh,
That
that
was a
one, yeah,
reference to that.
yeah. That was it's a PS4 exclusive car for Rocket League. Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay,
is
I didn't know
Twisted
that.
Metal though. I never played Twisted Metal, but
Yeah,
I
me
know where
either.
it's from.
Yeah, that one. I mean, I think that's probably one of the bigger ones you can do. I don't know. It always felt weird because I feel like it takes up more of your camera when you have the bigger car. I guess you can always adjust it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it. It might be a placebo effect in terms of turn radius and drifting and all that, but I always felt that it was more sluggish, to use that car.
And flipping is weird with those rectangular cars.
Yeah, it feels different, and I don't know
Because
if it's
visually it's kind of hard to see it. Like,
yeah.
trying to land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess my go-to car though would be the Takumi. So, yeah, that one I just feel more comfortable in. It's small. You can see a lot of the field with it. I think it looks better than the Octane, and yeah, that's one I use. So I guess like once we started getting the DLC cars, that was kind of the beginning of like the refinement of Rocket League. We started getting new fields. I remember they added like the the Coliseum. I think they added that early
I think
on.
that's the first one of the first ones.
Utopia, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
think
guys.
That was
yeah.
the first new one, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember we were playing one day and we're like, "Whoa, this is pretty nice." We're outside.
It's bright.
Yeah, it's very bright. It felt weird playing in there for the first few times, and now it's like when it comes up, you barely even notice. It's like, eh. But I remember it used to feel really special, at least to me. I felt like it used to have like a lot more. I felt like it was a lot brighter before.
They
messed
messed with lighting between stages. They've gone back and patched some stuff in.
Mm-hmm. So that was really cool, and obviously we had the DLC cars. I think that Takumi was part of that first initial wave there, and then you had, I believe, the demolition cars, if that's right, and that was when Wasteland was introduced. That was kind of a big deal. That was like the first, like I think, different different field.
When did Rumble come out?
Rumble came out the year after the Broncos beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl. It was actually on opening day the following year when the Panthers played the Broncos, and I also was drinking a Crystal Pepsi during that day. It was the day before we all went on vacation, not you, John. So that was the day that Rumble came out.
Wow.
What day that was specifically, I don't know.
I don't know what years this is.
So what Super Bowl are we on now? 54?
Yeah.
Super Bowl 54, so 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
that
going to
was
say
Super Bowl 50.
So
Super
it
Bowl
was just
50.
1 year after it came out.
Guess so.
I got really excited for that mode.
Oh yeah, me too.
And
yeah,
it's so
that was it. Yeah, it is. It's a great change of pace. I'm not sure how I feel about the competitive aspect of it now, but I think it is actually better because a lot less people quit. Where I feel like a lot of times you'd play Rumble and people would take it seriously for some reason and they would like leave when they started losing. Then you'd be playing against like Heater and whatever their names
I still
are.
find it hard to take seriously in competitive.
Oh yeah, me too.
There's so many games you can just lose because just RNG and whatnot.
Well, they force you into all sorts of different maps in that game mode too, even the competitive Rumble, which is the only option you have to play it now.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll go in all the labs. You'll go in the rocket labs too. So you got to like play Rumble while you're playing these maps you never play anywhere else, especially if it's just vanilla competitive.
Yeah,
standard and doubles and all that.
So
Rumble came out September 8th, 2016. So we're coming up on 3 years.
And then other notable events that day, the Panthers and the Broncos had a rematch
of the Super Bowl. Right?
Yes, of the previous year.
What a twisted web we weave.
Yes. So yeah, Rumble was definitely a big deal. I remember when that trailer came out, we were all really excited about it. It's like we were saying, it's a great change of pace mode. It's just silly, the power ups, just all of it. It was so much different, and you could see that Psyonix was really trying to get creative with what they were doing. Prior to that, there was, I guess, the whole mutator settings. You could adjust ball size, ball speed, gravity, all kinds of stuff. You could make the game just absolutely ridiculous, like in private matches. But then you also had like the snow day, which is hockey. I remember we were really excited about that. There was hoops, and there was one other one, I think. But
4v4.
That's always been there.
yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I know that like hockey and hoops, that was kind of like the two.
Well, there's
That's
also
it?
drop shot.
Oh,
Yeah,
drop
then
shot. Yeah,
added
I really
later
liked
on,
drop
yeah.
shot when that came out.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah,
I might
still
have
pretty
gone
good.
Back.
That's like Rocket League's volleyball mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which it works out really good. Like I just remember playing like the hockey mode and just how the puck just like sticks to the wall.
That's always fun. Yeah.
It's like, they took this game and they just really, I mean, they're execute like all these game modes actually work and they're functional. You're using cars. It's like it's kind of crazy in a way.
Yeah. And then this past event, they've been doing those limited time modes actually.
Yeah, and that's been really crazy too. Like you have the beach ball one, you have the spike one, the Ghostbusters one, which I'm not really a huge fan of.
How would
but-
you rank them?
They tried.
I would rank
Yeah,
it.
they definitely tried.
I would rank it Spikes, Beach Ball, and the Ghostbusters one.
Yeah, I would do the same, even though we were completely demoralized in the spikes. How
It was
about
still
you?
fun. But
I haven't. The only one I played was the Spikes.
Oh, okay. You're not really missing much. The volleyball one is, or not the volleyball, the beach ball one was kind of,
Yeah, you played the only good one.
yeah. Like the beach ball one is just kind of weird because it depends on what angle you hit it at, and the ball will just like curve.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
they
like-
added in private matches for mutator settings. They actually added in what's it, the Magnus effect kind of thing for the ball.
Yeah, that kind of was what it was. They
So
were
they
using
kinda put
basically.
They put it for the beach ball mode, I believe. That's how it kind of works.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they made the ball kind of just big, floaty, textured like a beach ball, and put the Magnus effect on, and there you go, new mode.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What is the Magnus effect?
It's like
So when the ball's spinning and has to do with aerodynamics and starts spinning towards that direction. I would have to go really into detail, but I don't think this is a science podcast.
So when you hit the ball, what happens to the beach ball?
So if it has a spin on it, it'll just start turning.
So it'll turn with the spin.
Yeah, I'll turn to spin. Think like baseball or something, like when you throw.
Okay, that's what I'm
Pitch.
trying to.
Yeah,
that's what I was
it's the
visualizing.
same
A
concept.
curveball or
It's-
something.
That's how it works.
Okay, that's cool.
It's like a real beach ball. So
Yeah.
They're useless. You can't use them for anything.
Well, it'd be cool if they did a beach ball mode where like there's weight on like the bottom of it.
Oh, we had one of those for some reason. That yellow one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. And you throw it, it like whoom, 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 whoom. So, you'd be trying to hit this ball, but you like go by it and it comes back behind you and then goes back around.
Oh my god.
That'd be
sounds
interesting.
dangerous.
Sounds like a whole bunch of whiffs.
Oh god. So basically, like normal Rocket League.
Yep.
Oh god. Yeah, that would be interesting. God, I haven't thought about that ball in a long time.
Yep.
It's like in some science kit or something. Oh man. So another feature that they added was like the I guess field preference selector, which was really important during the early days of competitive Rocket League. That was when we had the wonderful Neo Tokyo, the space station. I don't know what it's called.
Arctagon?
Arc base.
Starbase Arc.
Okay,
Sorry,
so you had
sorry.
that one, and then you had Wasteland, which you liked Wasteland at night.
Yep.
So this selection, which I always forget that this is like an option, like to do. You get to select what fields you like and which fields you don't, and the ones you don't select, it's gonna take you to them every single time. I mean, that's kind of what it felt like, but that was actually a really good feature to put in there, because I guess some people did like Neo Tokyo and how it was, but as a competitive field, you have to have the same field for each match. Like you can't change up the field. Like it makes the gameplay too different. like to kind of, I guess, stay in your groove. Like you can't be like changing up all the time. Did you guys like those fields at all?
Not for competitive, not for normal competitive.
Yeah.
I still really don't like Neo Tokyo, and I really don't like Arctagon. Like even it just makes me sick. Like
Yeah.
God, not this again.
Especially like
Let's wrap
Cal and
this
I
up.
play twos all the time, and when you have big map, it's really hard to just like get to the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an issue. Like, we
Oh
wouldn't be able
yeah,
to
yeah.
get there
I
in
see
time.
exactly what you're saying. Yeah, like even let's take it a step further. Like if you were doing competitive singles and that map showed up, it's like Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
It's
yeah.
like, well, there it goes.
Yeah,
Guess
we'll
I'll
get
die.
there eventually. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, for competitive it doesn't work. Now what about for Rumble? Do you
Yeah,
like
it works for
those
Rumble.
maps?
I like it. It adds variety. Neo Tokyo I like for Rumble. Um, yeah, just adds a little bit more to it. Adds to the chaos, which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, cuz that sounds pretty good. I mean, cuz like we said, I mean, competitive you need to have the same standard field. I mean, that's competitive. Like you're playing like the actual Rocket League game. These other variants of like the fields, I even throw the classic one in there. I don't think that's a good competitive field.
That actually shows up sometimes in casual, and I hate when it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I would say, casual is like a kind of like a practice for competitive. And if that stadium shows up, you got to change your entire way you play that game.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
tough.
if you're like us, where you hit a lot of stuff on the corner to try to center the ball, you really have to start thinking. It may even be better for you that you have to control the ball more in the middle of the field. So maybe it's not an absolute that it just sucks, but I don't feel really comfortable playing on it.
Yeah, me either. How about you, John? Do you like the classic stadium?
Ah, doesn't work for competitive. That's all I have to really say about it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the hell of it out of it for spikes,
I
though.
don't. I
It
don't
was
really
good for
play those.
spikes. No. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the last time I played on like Neo Tokyo. Besides, like
I
the
actually
the
have
new.
recently, but it's been in Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Yeah, I haven't
is
really
that the
played
only way you
Rumble
can
a
play?
lot.
No, you can play other maps like on the casual, I believe.
Can you play it in casual?
So when I've played casual, I have not gone to Arctagon or Neo Tokyo Underpass, which is where you have the raised sides.
Yeah.
Only the old stadium, in my experience, and I play mostly casual.
Okay. So I think the least bad one out of those three was probably Wasteland because it was the most like a normal field.
Yeah, I think nowadays I really have never. It's been a long time since I've actually played on Badlands, which is the scooped version of that field.
Oh, is that what that's called?
I think so, Badlands.
Okay.
I liked it just fine when it was back in competitive. I liked it just fine. But I think when I go back to it now, and I think I have probably once in the past year played on it, it's like, I don't really like this. Like going back to it, I don't like it. But when I was used to it, it was fine. That was the first iteration of Nighttime Wasteland, which I thought was like the coolest by far stadium. I loved going there. So the aesthetics kept me entertained.
Yeah.
Even when, it may not have been the best field to play on. But for me, it was like one of my favorites because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was times where I would enjoy it, but then there's other times where it's like you're so geared into just like playing on like the normal fields that it was just slightly different enough to kind of throw me off. Because I think the corners are a little bit more rounded, right? That was kind of.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. They probably were a little different.
I feel like they were more gradual.
Yeah.
Like that like curve that goes around.
Right.
But I can't really remember too much about that. So I guess I wanted to kind of get into Rocket League today, because Rocket League has seen so many different improvements and upgrades. But now you have like a ton of different car selections. You have celebrations, brand new rocket trails. You have like your car trail, I guess is what they consider it. You have seasonal specials. You have Rocket Pass. Like there's so many different things. Like what I guess that's what I want to ask is, out of all like the new things, what do you think is your favorite thing that they've added now?
I like Rocket Pass a lot. If you play quite a bit, when you get to level 70 or so, you start getting the same items, but they're all painted or certified.
Okay.
It's guaranteed to be either painted or certified. Sometimes it's both, and it won't repeat. Now, it's boring to have the same item again and again, and you will get painted decals, which are more or less worthless. But they also throw in sometimes not just painted items of items you already have, but remixed items of items you already got throughout the Rocket Pass. So maybe instead of a particular wheel that's lime green, it'll, because there's a thing you can get. It'll make the same wheel like flash, and they'll call it like a remixed or inverted wheel.
Yeah.
There's almost like 3 versions of the same kind of plain wheel you get in that first 70 levels. And you have the chance to get that every time you go through 71, 72, 73. You'll get like these surprises. So I like that a lot. I think Rocket Pass works hand in hand with the new revamped XP. Remember the yellow bar that goes across the screen? So that actually matters now. They made that change, I don't know, maybe about a year or so ago. That was like where it'd be like impossible to get to level 75 or whatever it was to become a Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like the same amount of XP per level. So that goes hand in hand with Rocket Pass. You get a Rocket Pass level every time you get an XP level. So they kind of, because they work hand in hand, it kind of made use of the old XP system.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. And I like how, over time they have made it a lot easier to actually level up, where before I felt like it took like forever.
Yeah, it did.
You get like stuck.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Rocket Pass. Kind of gives you more incentive to play. There's like a reason to level up now.
Yeah, I mean, painted items are hard to come by, but these are guaranteed. Even though they may not be all that spectacular, you do have a chance of getting those remixed items.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I really like all the new gold explosions.
Yeah, I like the gold explosions too.
I'm actually sporting a popcorn one myself.
Yep.
The one you've always wanted.
Uh-huh. Well, I went through a real money trade for that one.
Which is okay. I mean, it's basically DLC at that
Better
point.
than,
Basically.
gambling.
Yeah, better than just throwing $50 out there and just never getting it.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
My favorite new thing is actually the clubs.
The what?
The clubs.
Oh, yep. And they have that special type of intro, right? They kind of like rotate around you when you start a club match.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I completely
team
blanked
clubs. You
on
can
that.
make your own club. You can change your color.
The colors,
you choose a name,
kind of go
and
along.
then
Yep.
you choose your abbreviation,
Man.
which people do
Yeah,
some
that
really
is
dumb
true.
stuff like us.
Yeah, FF.
Yeah, well, FF because our club name is forfeit, and immediately everyone tells us to forfeit, but that never happens.
All the time.
That never
Yeah.
happens. We never forfeit. That's just not.
Yeah,
thing.
that actually. Yeah, the thing with Rocket League is that you're in a 5-minute game. Like, there is no other sport that is 5 minutes long. Okay? At least I don't think. I guess, certain ones could be. I don't know. Just, you have a chance to come back. Like, the clock stops when you score. Like, why would you leave the game and miss out on one of the most rewarding parts of the game, which to me is coming back and winning? Getting, catching fire in a way and just storming back. Like, momentum shifts in the game quite frequently. It seems like once you get the ball rolling, it keeps going. So, I mean, I don't know. That's always kind of confused me. I mean, everyone's like, so like, as soon as they go down by 2, it's like they start scoring on their own goal, or they start acting up for some reason.
Or heck,
it's
a
really
better team
strange.
likes to think that maybe you gave up, so they kind of.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of
Like a Falcons, New England Patriots type thing.
Yeah. They just
28-3.
become overconfident.
Yeah, and that happens quite a bit. So it's just weird. That is really strange. So yeah, our group name is FF because it kind of makes fun of that. In a way.
Oh yeah, and then when the other team forfeits, it's like, oh, came true.
Yeah, forfeit wins by forfeit. It's great. It is great. Yeah, I completely forgot about the clubs. It's just something that is, in your face all the time, but it's just one of those, I guess, features that kind of slipped my mind. I guess that might actually be my favorite thing too then. Just because I do like having that tag on there. I remember, we used to harass people that would have like clan tags,
Oh yeah.
playing Rocket League.
And some people come up
Not
with
really
weird names
bad.
too.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some really strange like abbreviations and names that they have. Um, yeah, it's pretty funny. Um, yeah, there was like different usernames. Obviously, you always run into some weird usernames like on like PC and all that. Um, that are just hilarious. Um, but yeah. That's probably one of my favorite things too. I do like the seasonal things. Like this whole radical summer thing is really cool. I love like Halloween. You always get like the cool Halloween um, decorations and attachments for your car. I really like that a lot. It kind of brings in the season, even Christmas time. Like I
Yep.
use the
You
present.
still do, yep.
Yep, to this day. So when I win, they get presents and they stay there the entire time,
Uh,
which is great. That's really the only good explosion that I have. Um, and I think another part that I like is the stronger competition. Like when you play a game, I feel like it's a little bit more rewarding than you win, as opposed to when you first started playing Rocket League, where I mean you could literally just like drive your car into the ball and somehow score and end up winning. Where I guess that could still technically happen here, but just the level of competition. I mean, people have stronger shots. Their maneuvers are a lot more advanced now. It just makes the game a lot more, quick, and you really have to be on your game in order to win, a lot of games, which I think is really cool. Definitely reliant on having a strong set of teammates, and it's I like that a lot. Um, so what are your favorite game modes for Rocket League?
Choose.
for me, yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I hate and love doubles. Like I like playing doubles with you guys, but when it comes to randoms, I mean, it could really get nasty real quick.
Yeah, it all depends on
So
how many
actually,
people you have in the party at that given time.
yeah,
Yeah.
I switched over to Team Quick Chat just because it can get really toxic when you're playing random doubles. There almost should be like a random, a doubles solo mode, kind of like standard solo standard, even though it's a horrendous game mode.
So you mean like no parties allowed?
Right? Yeah.
That would make sense actually.
You can really get ganged up on when you're playing against a party. But there's drawbacks to that too. Just splitting up even more the limited amount of players there are.
Yeah.
But definitely double. I mean, I feel like I'm in more control when I'm playing doubles. There's a lot more coordination that you need to have if you want to be successful in standard, especially higher level standard. If you click with a whole bunch of randoms, that's awesome, but it is tough when you're not talking to each other. So doubles usually is the way to go, just less to keep track of.
Yeah. Yeah, I think doubles to me, I like being able to touch the ball a lot, obviously. I mean, I'll ram John out of the way if he's messing
Yep.
around with the ball. I have
Seen
no
that
problem.
Many times.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kalman.
You're welcome. I'll take some goals away from John in attempts to
Oh
steal
yeah,
them.
I have all these replays. I could make a montage of all the times
Yeah,
Kalman's done it.
make those and send them to me, and I will add them into the. um, I just feel like there's a lot more room to play. So, yeah, I think there's a lot more room to play in doubles.
Well, I don't think there's
and
enough room to play when Kalman comes and Ramsey from behind.
That's right.
Yeah, probably not.
Subjective.
So, yeah, I feel like triples. I like when we play triples together. But I also think that I don't know. I have a hard time kind of getting into that. Just because I feel like I have a hard time knowing where to be, and I feel like the ball is moving around and getting hit so often that there's never really a chance to like dribble. There's never a chance to, I guess, get any separation from people because there's just so much going on.
Yeah, that's why
It's
you
like-
really got to be a lot more coordinated in those modes to try to figure out where you should place that ball, where the other team's at. And you gotta be actually really, really quick to make plays because if you hesitate, you're done. They're gonna get it past you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, or they'll 50-50 it and just make the ball go in a random
Yeah.
location. So positioning is a huge part of triples. Like
Mm-hmm.
people can get the champion without all that crazy flipping and hitting the ball off the wall a whole bunch of times as it hits their car and gets in the goal and shots from the ceiling and all that. People can make it the champion with just decent positioning.
And
a
you
lot
gotta
of the
also
time.
actually track where your teammates are too.
Yeah, you
Doubles,
gotta use that
not as good.
stick
Not as
to
hard.
take a look at them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Now fours is just completely ridiculous. There's no to me there's no real way to play fours.
Well, that's the reason why it's called chaos.
Yeah, I mean you're taking threes, which I think are really difficult as it is. And you're just kind of you're making it worse. That's essentially what you're doing. Because we've played four a couple times, like me, you, or us with Dakota, and it's always a crapshoot. I mean, you don't know. Like, you don't know if you're gonna win because it really just it really depends on if the bounces go your way. But it's just there's lag. There's so many people touching the ball that if you can even hit the ball, I mean, you're kind of halfway there. It's just
Ball's
insane.
getting touched so much, I might have to go to therapy.
Oh man, yeah, that's how it that's how it feels. And then I guess besides outside the doubles, which is definitely top favorite just because of how it plays. I guess out of all the special modes, Rumble's probably my favorite. I find myself playing that more than like hoops. I haven't played hoops in years. And the hockey mode, even though I really do like the hockey mode too. I think Rumble's just like one of those modes where it's just so much fun to just play. Like it's just if you want to laugh for like a good like 20 minutes or so, I think Rumble's definitely
Well, yeah,
a
you can
good way
get
to...
like friends who don't even know to play Rocket League. They just mash the power ups and they'll be doing something.
Yeah. It makes it a lot of fun. So I think those modes are probably my favorite.
The weekly challenges that were, apparent this season, like 14 weeks of weekly challenges, have incorporated a lot of the special modes. So that's kind of, I've done all of them, all 14 weeks of them. So I've definitely played more hoops and hockey.
Good way to
more than I
spread out
ever
the
have.
base, the user base between them.
Yeah. Now the problem with those is, you if you never played them in competitive before, which a lot of them I didn't until this summer. You're in bronze, so if you're playing with these bronze folks or just getting into the game, you feel like you're playing way faster, and it's almost kind of fun when you kind of take over the game in these special game modes. But like sometimes if you're really in a groove, then you feel unstoppable in drop shot, and same with hockey, you're just like. They're just completely missing the puck. They're going over it. They're just missing it when you're hitting on the wall, and it scoops right in front of their goal. It'll just fall into the goal sometimes without having someone have to knock it in. It's the weirdest thing. Hoops is really fun because, again, that's the doubles mode of it. And if you kind of get into the hang of putting the ball in the air, you can dominate in that too. So I think of those special game modes, hoops may be my favorite, but a lot of this is dependent on what I'm doing best at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of that can be frustrating when you're, again, playing with fairly new or just inexperienced folks. So, or there's people who aren't that super good at the game just yet. So, yeah, it is dependent on how good you're doing, how good the teams are doing, but hoops is probably definitely up there as the special favorite for me.
Yeah. I guess hoops is kind of reliant heavily on like your aerials. That's kind of where that is geared towards. And I don't know, like it's weird because you'll come across people that are really, really good at it. Like they're just like super dominant.
Well, I appreciate good defense even if it's not on my team.
Yeah.
Like if there's like a for sure shot and someone jumps through the hoop from underneath it and pops up the ball and saves it, all you can do is like, wow, that's some good
That
defense.
is pretty cool.
You can't even get mad at that because it's hard to kind of position yourself. You're not usually saving the ball by jumping straight up in the air, but you have to do that sometimes in hoops. Like if that's not something you typically do in, well, I guess you do it sometimes, but with the hoop around, it's kind of nerve-wracking. A lot of those shots can just kind of fall in sometimes, so you don't have a whole lot of time to react.
Yeah.
It's hard if the ball's coming from behind you and you got to go straight up to get it. The camera can get all messed up, and it can be kind of jarring sometimes when you're trying to save a lot of those shots. But you got to appreciate it when it happens.
Yeah. John, what's out of those special modes, which one do you think you like the best?
Just Rumble. It's true and
You like
tried.
the Rumble?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rumble, I think it's just a really I mean, they're all really well designed, but Rumble is just, I don't know, it's kind of special in a sense that it's going to make you laugh every time you play it. Like it kind of has that effect. It just kind of de-stresses you from the, all the anger that is present online in like the, I guess, more competitive style of modes. Okay. So after 4 years of Rocket League, what keeps you guys coming back? Like, do you ever think when you're playing the game, like, why am I still playing this? Like, is there a specific reason you keep coming back?
Well, TJ mentioned earlier that it's a game that you can just hop on, play a little bit, and stop or whenever you want to. It's always just been good from the start. Hasn't changed too much, and just the concept itself is always good.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, I've gotten better at it. We all have gotten better at it over the past couple of years. So there's always that opportunity to improve. I think the last time I played with John, I saw he was like, well, we were playing standard, I think. John, are you Diamond 2 in standard, or is that doubles?
I think I was Diamond 1 at least in standard. It fluctuates, depends who I play with. Or I play myself, you guys.
Yeah, you can get on a streak and go to a rank you've never been at before, and that's pretty exciting. Even with the hours we put into it, we probably should all be champion at this point. But it's just a game,
Yeah.
So there is that even that steady chance to improve. It just is encouraging. It's still a very fast-paced game. It's engaging. If you do get a couple of wins, it's just like you just want to keep playing. Just keep playing. The whole phrase "play until we lose" has definitely been uttered, definitely by me. John, last time we played doubles, definitely. A couple of warm-ups kind of broke that rule.
10 games later.
That's right. We played 2 in a row, and we lost both of them, and then we won. I think we were like 6-3 that night, so it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Those were just warm-up games.
That's right.
They were.
John said that. And, it's just, man, when you're in that groove, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah.
You feel just completely in control. You feel fast. If you get a good aerial, you're just like, oh my God. It's when things just work out right sometimes. All that random stuff you guys talked about in Rumble, there's stuff like that happens in regular Rocket League too.
Yeah.
You may trick someone with a decent dribble, even in triples sometimes, just kind of navigate through the middle of the field and just kind of pop it in. Few and far between, yeah, but when it does happen, you're just like, oh my God. You feel kind of proud of yourself that you were able to, make your fingers do this. So yeah, it definitely is still exciting. Some cool things can happen. Kind of like a baseball game. You show up and something may happen you've never seen before. So
Yeah.
it's still exciting after these years because it's just how random it can be.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel the same way. I feel like, Rocket League offers like such a unique feel to it. I love going on there and dominating. Like when we go on like streaks, of like 5 to 10 wins in a row, you feel great. I mean, you feel like everything just clicks. Everything feels, like it's working how it's supposed to. You feel like you can't really lose to anybody because you're just executing at such a high level. And even ones where you kind of struggle throughout the game, but somehow you end up putting up more points than the other team, even though you're just like, vastly outplayed. You're able to kind of hold on until you're able to kind of orchestrate your own, scoring chances. Being down a lot in games and then, working yourself, back up to tie the game and then eventually overtake, like, last second goals to win a game or last second goals to tie a game. I mean, that's like extremely, it gives you so much hype going into overtime. Like, holy crap, we just did that.
Well, those are the best games, right? When you come back, go into overtime, and then win.
Oh yeah,
just a constant thrill, because there's really no pressure when you've come back all that way and make it go to overtime. That was the goal in the first place, to tie it up, and not lose. Even then, so even if you lose in overtime, kind of like a hockey game, you still get something out of it, and that's the satisfaction you came back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that feeling is just, it's great. And then, combine that with like trash talking, which we see a lot of and do a lot of. Obviously, we don't have, awful intentions when we do it. There's some people that do and say things they really shouldn't.
You gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah, it's there's certain things that you shouldn't say, but just beating a team that's trash talking from the start, which I guess when people beat us, that's how they get that feeling.
And you had some replays you're gonna put over the video, I believe.
Yeah, I do have some replays of like our beginning, and because I have like replays since since 2017, I guess. Probably earlier than, I don't know. I don't remember when this game came out. I'm like so confused now. 4 years ago. I have recordings from 4 years ago of like replays that I saved. Back when like the camera switch button was the same as the save replay button, so I have like a ton of like recordings from back then, which we'll play through. But yeah, like the trash talking aspect. I'll be honest. Like there's times where I'll be laying in my bed at night thinking, once if I was at a job interview, and they said everything looks great, your resume checks out, we really like you, we're just gonna need your Rocket League chat history and you'll be good to go. It's like, oh,
based
crap.
on your records, we saw that you put what a save, what a save, what a save, reported you. All while you were losing.
Are you going to do this here when things don't go your way? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, and then you said you had that one guy who said you can't be toxic and bad. It's like, have you played enough Rocket League?
Oh my god. So that's the kind of stuff I think about at night. It's very I'll be in the shower, I'm just like, oh, I hope they don't pull my Rocket League chat history. Because I don't know. They're going to say, why'd you say your dad from Japan? What do you mean by that?
Why did you say something from Missouri?
Yeah.
PS4
Why'd you say
really
with
weird. PS4 has a really weird auto text generator thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is very strange. You'll be like, something from Missouri.
Everything's
like,
from Missouri, apparently. According to PlayStation, it wants to auto-fill to Missouri. Or something else.
The baby from Missouri. And that's all it says. That's just what it says. So yeah, like the chat and all that, it's part of the game. And you can get underneath people's skin, and you'll either make them play better or you'll make them play drastically worse. That actually might be part of the reason why people forfeit, not just because they're doing bad, but because we're spamming what a save and saying various other borderline incriminating things to that person, making them want to not play anymore. So I don't recommend, and everything, like we said, everything we say is really just to be. It's almost like to be ironic, because I remember when we first played the games, and people would start like trash talking. They would say like just kind of like stupid stuff, and we kind of take that and we just overblow it in a way, just to kind of make fun of it. It's like,
you can turn this into an X-rated podcast, but I don't think we're gonna do that.
Not today. You guys have to pay for that one. That's actually not a bad idea. We'll do a X-rated podcast, and that can be like a.
May have some graphical images.
it's a Patreon exclusive. I don't know what to do with
For
that.
educational purposes only.
Yes, it has verbal, uncensored images of Rocket League stuff. But yeah, so I'm so off topic now that I have no idea where I'm at. So do you guys have any Rocket League regrets? Because my Rocket League regret is that Telltale never got to make a Rocket League game.
Oh my God.
Well, how's that your regret?
Because I regret not being able to know what happened to these cars. I wanted a touching, tear-jerking moment
it's like
with
you have-
two Rocket League.
You have like a quick time moment. It's just like, do I rotate or do I hit the ball?
Oh my God! Can you imagine if it was just Rocket
Like-
League? Just
And you go in,
Point
you
and
miss.
click.
Like your teammate will remember this.
the loser dies. Your teammate was self-destructed or was destructed.
There's only one ending, guys, and that's you losing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I wanted to kind of hear the backstory of the cars, I guess. So I have on here favorite Rocket League memories, which is kind of a ridiculous question to ask because we've been playing Rocket League for so long, and roughly like 100 games per month. Is that
It's either
accurate?
too many or not enough.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they all kind of merge together. Like it kind of goes back to what we said before.
Yeah.
Wins where we came back.
Yeah. Kind of, what are your favorite sports games, right? Like, Eagles and Giants, right?
Mhm.
Miracle at the New Meadowlands.
Yep.
Right?
Snowball.
Snowball, these big comeback games. Snowball, I don't think was a comeback game, but New Meadowlands. I bring that up because some of the best Rocket League memories are when you are down by a lot, and either like we said earlier, like the opposing team either gets lackadaisical, wasn't really good to begin with. Maybe they scored a whole bunch of early goals, and you kind of keep at it, even maybe if the game's halfway over, or maybe there's a minute left, and you just try really hard. You get a couple goals. You're really, in crunch time, you get another one. You push to overtime and knock it out. That's what makes the game so special.
Yeah.
Now there are a few plays that always kind of stick with me. Like this one time, I may even have a replay of it, where my car had landed somewhat in front of the opposing team's goal, but how my car landed was on the back end of it, so my car was sticking straight up in the air, and I had, for whatever reason, the ball had landed on my nose, so it was almost like a golf tee. And so the ball just bounced very slightly up from my nose of the car, and my teammate drilled it into the goal for a goal. And I think I may have that replay saved as like a golf shot or something. It was like the weirdest thing ever. It happened very quickly. Car standing straight up on the ass end. The ball bounces off my nose right above it, and teammates watching the whole thing and scores with it. So
That's great.
that was pretty cool when it happened.
That's pretty neat.
Some things I like to see, like I'll just start flying from my side of the field and just kind of guess where the ball's going to be in front of the goal if my teammate's trying to set it up for him or the other guy, the other teammate or me. So it's happened a couple times where I just start flying. I'm just predicting that ball is going to be at the far corner or somewhere in front of the goal. So it feels like an eternity. I'm in the air and just kind of land where the ball is and score that way. So those are pretty fun when that happens too. It's just like, oh yeah, calculated or actually mean it.
Yeah, it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What do you think? You have some good memories?
I think my favorite memory is one I actually made a video of, and you know which one it is.
Oh, I do.
I don't think the language is suitable to put on your channel,
Probably not.
but that's mostly because of the the other team's end.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's only one little word. Maybe you can. I don't know.
I could probably censor it.
It wouldn't be as funny though. But anyways, this video, I think we were like down 4 or something. Was maybe like 2 minutes left. It was something really like hard to come back from.
Oh yeah.
And in one of the plays, I full boost and blew up both of the goalies. And this is in doubles. Both
Yeah.
of the other team, I blew them up. and just took the ball myself and scored it. It's just like they couldn't do anything. They're dead. They just could not do it. And this was like consecutive, like back to back. They're right behind each other, one in front. And I just full boost in front of their goal. Blow up one, boom. The other one, boom. Just like in 1 second, they're both gone. They're both dead.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I had a Skrillex song in there too. It is ridiculous. And then it was the guy just saying something really bad. You two are the luckiest little. Yeah, I won't.
You can go ahead and say it.
I think it's a lot better that way. I think it's a lot fun. It was that, and then like I edited the Rocket League logo as his reportedly, and then and at the end it just shows the guy got like a suspension log on there.
Oh my god, that is great.
I think that's my favorite one because there's a video of it.
Oh man, yeah, there was a couple like instances like that. I think at one point, me and TJ were playing at the Arctagon, and we were down by a lot. Like it might have been 4 or 5, and we came back in the last minute, and we ended up tying it. And I think our last goal was, I think either I hit you into the ball or you hit me into the ball on the kickoff.
Okay.
And then the ball just like rolled over to like that goal, and the corner just like completely messed up, and it just went in.
Like, yeah, when we saw it in real time. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, it was like it was going to the right of the post, and then it just
left.
went whoop. Just kidding, I got it. It's like, what?
That was insane.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but yeah, that always kind of stuck out to me because it was like the most BS ending of the game.
Even when you look at the replay, it's been a while since I looked at it, but I have looked at that replay before, and you just look at it, like, how did that happen? Like at the very threshold where that ball should not have gone left, it went left.
Yeah.
From the right side post, I think.
That's exactly right.
That was just something else. I mean, the sides of the goals, those goal posts do have that rounded part at the bottom where it usually sends the ball up when those are struck, but this time did not do that.
No, it curved it right into the goal.
It's just it was the weirdest thing ever.
It's almost like it grabbed the ball and pushed it into the goal.
Like gravity pulled it there or something.
It's like the goal had a magnet power up from Rumble, and it just went whoop.
Yeah.
Had a toilet plunger.
It was something else. Yeah, but that was like on top of, you said Cal was on top of coming back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
BS stadium ever.
Yep. That was insane.
Man, good stuff.
So that definitely stands out to me. I remember one replay where I think John's like about to hit the ball into the net, and then my car just like blocks it.
That happens all the time.
I know. How can you narrow it down?
There's one replay.
Where's Cal at? Oh, he's in front of their opponent's goal, and he saved the ball.
Oh, it just went in our goal.
Cal missed the ball.
Oh, God.
I'm about to say it. Oh, he ran me out of the way.
Yeah. I've done that to John, too.
It's fun. Doing it to John is great. Oh, man.
Rocket League is such a great game. There's a lot of games I'll get verbally excited, but I think Rocket League's like the most verbally excited I get in any game.
Yeah, I think me too. It gets so intense, especially once like the time is starting to kind of tick away and you're kind of playing with some urgency. When you finally get on the board or you finally tie it up or whatever, it's just like, oh my God, finally! Like it's like we were trying so hard. It's like there's certain games where you're having such a hard time scoring, and then you finally score, and it's just like, oh my God, it feels great. So it definitely has like a really big like hype aspect, just because you get so into it, you get so engrossed in what's going on. But I will say, Rocket League, it's a game that definitely has surprised me over the years. What TJ said earlier, it's kind of like, a baseball game. You don't know what's going to happen. I feel like all the games play out differently. You never have a game that plays like identical to each other, no matter how many times you play it. And, that's great for, replayability. But then it also has become a game that I honestly cannot imagine playing video games without having the ability to go and play Rocket League. Like I can't imagine a time where Rocket League won't exist in some, capacity, in the future of games. So I think that the fact that it was able to kind of establish that for me, which is something very few games have. The only game I can really think of that, well, there's a couple that I'd play like over and over and over again. NHL '96, and I'd probably go back to like something like Breath of the Wild or something like that. But just the fact that this game has it's almost kind of transcend being just like a game that I can play as part of like a routine. Like I have to play Rocket League, like I have to end the night with Rocket League, even though I've been kind of off that for the last few months. I just feel like in a few weeks or a few months it's just going to be right back to that. It's like you have to play a couple games of Rocket League before you go to bed. So I just think that's really remarkable, how that kind of established and embedded itself into just my everyday life at this point. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, it's a game that me and Kalman or TJ, it's whenever we decide what game should we play, it's different, but then we can't decide. It's like, just play Rocket League. It's just a game we can always just agree on, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
I haven't played Rocket League this week, and I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Yeah.
There's always something new. But yeah, I'm like you, Cal. It's like you're not. It became like a daily thing. 'Cause it's just so quick. It's not like you're spending that much time on it. So you're not like. It's not like you feel guilty by playing it too much, because you really don't. You play a little bit and then you're done for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it feels kind of like a void. You don't want to, because you could be collecting things right now. Going through that Rocket Pass, getting more items and all that. Buying the items from the Radical Summer event. So yeah, probably should play that pretty soon.
Yeah. I definitely want to get back into it again. I mean, it's not like I'm out of it. It's just I take little breaks here and there.
You don't want to lose out on your skills either. You got to stay fresh.
Ironically, I feel like sometimes when I take a break and I head back into it, I'm a better player.
Yeah, you get into those funks. Anything you do a lot, you can get into a funk.
Yeah, so it's just start underperforming. We just gotta bench Kalman for a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You get back into it, you remember the fundamentals, so you play a little bit better.
Yeah.
And as the night goes on, you get worse again.
Yep. It's a vicious cycle.
Yep.
Oh man. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we've kind of went over this really well. We're over an hour into the episode, and I kind of feel like I've spoken my piece about Rocket League. If you guys have anything else you want to say about it, I mean, the floor is definitely yours.
This is like the one game I don't feel bad about putting money in for DLC. It's just been one game over the last 4 years, and I don't know how big the Psyonix team is, but it seems like they really care about their game. They want to make improvements to it, like we've talked about. I feel like it's worth it to invest in it for putting so much hours into it, getting so much enjoyment out of it that throw a few dollars their way for some items every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really feel that way for too many other games. Like I haven't spent a dime on GTA 5, even though I've played a heck of a lot of that too.
And they ask you every 5 seconds,
right?
Hey, you want to spend real money to buy fake money?
Yep. I mean, you can get just as much of this game. Even like it seems like the pros who play Rocket League don't have, at least from the videos I've seen, don't put all the flashy stuff, all the new stuff on their cars. They put really bare bones models just to limit distractions while they play.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even have to spend money on this game from your initial purchase to get the full enjoyment from it. But
yeah,
I think it's worth it because they do so much and have stayed on top of it for so long, and they just keep improving it. They're already talking about, you talked about, Cal, how you like the Halloween stuff. They're already talking about the fall and how season 12 is on the way. I think we're in 11 right now and going to 12. I think that's how that is.
Wow.
But
that's
they
crazy.
Yep, and they're gonna do another Halloween event, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, so they're constantly building on stuff. I'm sure they'll do something for Christmas. I think they're working on like this map that was exclusive in the Chinese versions of the game, if I'm not mistaken. So we definitely need a few more maps. Hopefully, it's like that Chinese foresty Type 1, if I remember correctly. So hopefully that comes down the pipe at some point. I think they're still working on it. Yeah, they just keep adding stuff, making it fresh, keeping it engaging. It's a game well worth playing.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, John?
What's the question?
No, I just, basically, if was there anything else you had to say about it?
Yeah, I don't know. Just looking to play for some more.
I'm ready for the next time we play Rocket League.
I'm ready for Rocket League 2.
I'm ready. Yeah, for Rocket League 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, God. All right. Well, you guys can find this podcast on CastBox, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and on YouTube. This is probably going to be the most worthwhile one to watch on YouTube because I'm going to have some really embarrassing snapshots of John from the Christmas party. And I'm also going to have some of our older I'm also going to have a lot of our older footage on there compared to how we play now. So I think it's going to be really interesting. You guys can kind of, see kind of the evolution of our Rocket League skills. But TJ, as always, it was nice having you here.
Nice to be here.
And John, it was nice having you on for the very first time.
Mm-hmm. It was fun.
It was your first ever podcast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Baby's first podcast.
I didn't even say the F word once.
Yeah, it's as soon as we turn this off, John's gonna have to let out some of his F-bombs that he's been storing because this is like a record for him. All right.
An hour and 31 minutes.
I thought John's F word was forfeit. Like he said that multiple times. What are you guys talking about?
That's true. I said it multiple times. Actually, no,
That's right.
No, I did. But anyways.
We can bleep those out.
Yeah, we'll just every time he says forfeit, we'll just censor it unnecessarily.
We'll just do one of those, this horn.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening in. And until next time, we'll see you.
Goodbye.